Hey guys, this is the Ramblerz podcast, episode 6.
If you guys have seen the podcast, you guys know that we've had a number of guests on the podcast, which is a very good thing. But Shalom and I here have never really got to sit down and really introduce what we're about to you guys and how we kind of came up with this whole podcast idea. So that was the original purpose of doing this episode for episode 6, I believe.
We really didn't, because we were talking about other people opposed to ourselves.
Right. So, yeah, exactly.
And so, not to sound like that's not in any way, but we just kind of want to introduce ourselves to you guys,
yeah,
our audience. So
I hope you guys enjoy this little episode. You know, it's been the third time we've done it, but we're eager to get it done with and let you guys know who we really are.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure if I introduced myself already, but my name is Shalom. I guess you could say my social media names is shalomythehomie, and this is my co-host.
I'm Julian. You guys can by the podcast I go by king.julianno. That's my Instagram name, Twitter name, whatever you guys want to consider it.
And so, first off, let's start off with the names real quick.
Yeah, so there's a lot of backstory behind that, actually.
How did you come up with King Julianno in the first place?
Alright, so I got you guys. So, one day, I was chilling. So, mind you, I was just chilling by my house, and my great-grandpa actually used to own an Italian deli that was right next to my house. It's a different restaurant now, just kind of like a different Italian restaurant, story for another time. But there was a homie that used to work there. His name was Winston. And, shout out to him. I don't know where he's at right now. He's probably just cooling it in the trap somewhere. But one day I walked in, and he'd always would call me Giuliano, because I'm a little bit Italian, because my great-grandpa's full Italian.
Yeah.
So one day, I just kind of connected the dots, and I was like, okay, the character from Madagascar, King Julian?
King Julian!
So I thought of that guy, and he was like, he kind of suits my personality, and then I thought, what sounds hella cool? King Juliano. Or King Juliano, if you want to say it with Spanish accent. So
King Julio.
That's how, hey Julio. But that's how I came up with that name, and ever since my sophomore year of high school, I just stuck with that. I went through hella different Instagram names. I went through Julian the Super Saiyan, Pikachu Julian. Yeah. What about you?
And so for my username or whatever, it's also gone through a lot of different handles, I guess you could say. At first it was honestly, it was awkward Shalom.
Awkward Shalom.
Honestly, I was I'm still kind of an awkward person. If I get to know whoever I'm talking to, I can kind of be like a awkward, shy person-ish. I mean, it depends on some people, but I was awkward. But the thing is about the awkward username was I spelled awkward wrong.
So that was what made it significant, right?
Yeah, it made it significant because it's just
okay, gotcha.
And then also Shalom, the next Holden was one, and then another one was Shalom. I don't even know. Honestly, I forgot.
Shaloma.
Shalomy the homie, and then eventually became Shalomy the homie, and Shalomy with that nickname. I think it came from one of my female friends. I don't know who. I don't know when, but it was definitely in my elementary. I think people just kind of called me that.
Yeah, it was a universal thing.
Shalomy, and then I thought about the homie because
this guy's everyone's homie.
I'm pretty
I kind of missed the hand. That's a little better. Missed the hand. That's a little better. Missed the hand.
You saw that? I'm pretty chill with people. I'm just a chill person, and I guess you could say that's why I'm called the homie, or Shalomy the homie.
Shalomy the homie, and
so
also it's got a nice ring to it. So you can't go wrong with that. King Juliano, Shalomy the homie.
Yeah.
And I also think it's just cool to have a stage name too.
Yeah.
For especially if you're doing a show or a YouTube channel, I think it's important to kind of have a little stage name. Get people engaged with that. It has a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, opposed to you can still use your real name.
Yeah.
For instance, some artists, some rappers or some whatever, they use their real name, and some of them just use a moniker of their name. But yeah, definitely now we're probably just gonna move on to our upbringing and stuff.
So basically, my upbringing wasn't very intense. I was born and raised here in San Jose, California. I grew up in a pretty cool household. I was born and raised kind of downtownish, West San Jose sort of area, so kind of at the borderline. There's a lot of homeless people that live around here. There's a creek.
There's a lot of there's a lot of
crackheads around here.
I'm not even crackheads, but just weird people.
Yeah.
Just those types of characters that are in
this
area.
Let's just say there's some characters. I have 2 younger brothers, live with my mom and dad. I got a dog. I come from a really mixed family, so my mom is Mexican, Italian, and Spanish. My dad is just full Puerto Rican. He's not from Puerto Rico, but his parents actually were from Puerto Rico, and they immigrated to New York and then they immigrated here.
Yeah.
So I come from like a background that's like all over the map. But growing up, I didn't really know too much about my culture except for like my Italian side. Because like I said, my mom's grandfather, which is my great grandpa, he owned an Italian restaurant in San Jose.
Literally next door to your house.
Literally next door to my house. And the restaurant was called Paradiso's. And that was like for like 60 years. Like they literally like hooked it up with food all the time. I always got free food. Like he was pretty known, I'd say, like in the Willow Glen and like downtown San Jose area. He kind of had that like popularity. But, you know, other than that, I came from a really, like, close family. I always was tight with all my cousins, with my mom's side. You know, I have a huge family. You know, you're talking Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Spaniards, and Italians all in one.
It's like a lot. It's a mix.
There's a lot of family parties. There's a lot of things going on growing up. So I was always really close to them. I had a good relationship with my family growing up, even though I'd fight with my little brother sometimes.
That's how it is.
But that's how it be, you know?
That's how it is with siblings.
Yeah.
Like, even, like... Side note, I was like with that with my sister. We kind of hated each other, for no reason. But then now we kind of like we like, you know, we're like close.
Yeah, so I mean it just works out that way. And as far as like growing up, you know, I went to school probably like on which was considered the south side of San Jose. So I went to 2 schools, you know, elementary and middle school. And back then I liked it. I made a lot of friends back then, but like I was the kind of kid where I guess you could say that I was kind of like geeky back then, or stereotypically, because I went to a school where it was all like jocks, right? So like all the kids that were popular like played sports. They were all the kids that wore like Nike Elite socks. And
Nike Elite.
I didn't fit that stereotype.
That was like,
because I wasn't into sports.
My bad, I don't mean to, but that was like middle school. Like when I remember, at least for me, when we remember, you know, it was middle school, which was I don't even know what year, but like definitely like Nike Elites, Vans, like style was different.
Style was definitely different, and like
you could definitely tell, like, because for me, like I like people that like dress. So like I like being stylish people, or like just, I guess you could say like just style or just how people dress.
Fashion's cool.
And then you just kind of notice like throughout the years, stuff changes and like the way people dress change and stuff.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, anyways, like
So what happened with me is you know, I guess when I was younger, I've always been personally a really social person. Like if you know who I am, I'll just talk to anybody. That's just how I am. Like I don't
this
care.
Guy literally, like everywhere we go, he knows someone. Like literally, it's like
I'm like SJ Native.
It's shout out SJ Native, shout out Art.
Who knows everybody in San Jose?
Yeah, like he literally does, and I used to work with him. He still works with him.
That's the homie right there.
Yeah. It's just, it's funny like how people could have connections.
Yeah, like I was always very social. I was a social kid, but I think growing up, I would say I was a little more shyer because like I said, I think I kind of felt intimidated by a lot of people I went to school with because when I was a kid, everybody was into cartoons when they were young.
Yeah.
You know, we all were.
Yeah,
but
like,
the thing is,
cartoons? Like
SpongeBob SquarePants, Cartoon Network, you know, all that good stuff. But I would wear like SpongeBob T-shirts as a kid when I was younger, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I felt out of place because I was always the type of kid in school where I'd want to talk about video games and cartoons. You know, all the other kids, what they wanted to do at lunch is they wanted to play wall ball or ball wall, whatever.
Do you remember like the one with the string and you hit it? And then
exactly. And I did that stuff a little bit, but I always felt like there was that hierarchy. And that was the same thing in middle school. It was always the jocks and the cheerleaders that were popular. And even though I was chill, I was cool with everybody, but I still kind of felt out of place.
Is this for middle school? Or?
This is from elementary to middle school.
Okay, my bad.
And just that side of town in particular in San Jose, like, typically has kids that, like, I'm not trying to throw anyone in a box, but a lot of the kids there come from like more privileged backgrounds, so they have access to like all these sports and all these cool kinds of things. So they stick around with people that they're more affiliated from. Because when I went to Ida Price, my middle school, the amount of Latinos there were really low.
Yeah.
Like it was all just like white kids school, which is nothing wrong with that, but like sometimes you kind of like people that like they tend to feel more comfortable for some weird reason with like their own race.
With each other.
Because so it was kind of a weird thing. And it didn't change for me until I got to high school.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way too.
Yeah.
Later on in college. We'll talk about that. But like it's just later on in college, I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, so you know, I got to high school my freshman year and I ended up going to Lincoln High School, which is like San Jose area. I don't know where you want to describe it. It's by a really nice area called the Rose Garden. You know, I went there, didn't have very many friends except for my cousin. He's letting us use his little garage to record.
Yeah.
But I went there, and I was nervous at first, but I was already social, so I made friends like that. I got a girlfriend my sophomore year. I'm still with her, love her to this day. You know, it's almost been 4 years. I was going to say 5.
Been 4.
I was going to say 5 years, but it's almost been 4 years. I really branched out, I think, during high school because I just started talking to more people. I started getting more of a fashion sense. I wasn't dressing, because back then in middle school, I used to be dressing hella dorky. Like, I'd wear mismatching clothes.
I feel like that was kind of a wave when you think about it.
Yeah,
it was
right.
kind of a wave for a minute. I mean, like, it's like, I feel like if people that pay attention to fashion nowadays, it's so out there. Like, it's streetwear, just different type of stuff. I can't really go into it because like it's a lot of stuff. Cause I pay attention to that stuff, but definitely Instagram, specific apps like Depop and like there's like a lot of stuff out there.
Oh, definitely,
and, like,
definitely a lot of like influencers.
And so definitely
and apps.
like yeah. So fashion sense changes, but yeah.
I started. So the funny thing about that is my mother actually works for a buy-sell trade store called Crossroads, and it's pretty known in San Jose. There's 2 locations, but basically she'd always kind of get me the hookup for clothes, and like she always did from a young age. But I wasn't really into fashion at a young age. So right before I got to high school, I was like, I want to start dressing a little saucy. You know what I mean? But like, I want to start getting more of a style, and I did. So I started, like, I don't know, I just started curling my hair more, I started dressing better, and then, like, I just kind of, I was the same person, I made a lot of friends, and,
just like you changed.
I changed a little bit, I guess you could say, but my junior, I didn't really get involved until my junior and senior year. Like, my junior year of high school, I did leadership at Lincoln, and then my senior year, I decided to try out for mariachi, because I had already played guitar, but that was, like, a kind of thing where I still have to work on that personally. I haven't done it in forever. Yeah. But I picked up that hobby my freshman year.
Like, what got you into mariachi? Like, what? Like, did you just like say, okay, I want to take this class?
Yeah. So what happened is my cousin, who's not in the video, he was actually in mariachi, and he had told me about it before and kind of like recommended it to me. And like I kind of thought about it, but I had already played guitar. So like my junior year, I was just like, I think I needed maybe one more class for credit. So I was like, why don't I just take this class and try it out? Like, I can learn the music, because the way they have the music sheets, they tell you the chords. Because I can't read music personally, but I know what chords I'm supposed to be playing. You know what I'm saying?
Because, it's like, there's a whole story with him, the whole guitar. Like,
well, the guitar, so the way the guitar thing started is, when I was a freshman in high school, so for those that know me, like, they know that, like, I've always been into different kinds of music.
Yeah.
Like, I've always liked music. So what happened is, I go to church. So my church actually had this like camp thing. Like, this is my freshman year of high school, where they wanted like youth to get more involved in their church and like just try out something. So some like guy that knew how to play guitar that was helping our church out, he kind of went and was like, yo, whoever wants to learn how to play a little bit of guitar, come here.
Yeah.
So I picked it up a little bit, and I played a Sunday service, even though it was terrible. The chords are all off. They're like, Lord, we praise you. And I'm all like, the chords are all off and everything. You know what I mean? But like, it was cool. And then I decided to like take on group lessons after that. And I did some private lessons my sophomore year. And I always was kind of playing on and off. I need to get back into it again. But I play like punk rock, 60s stuff.
It's all good, because like I always get on those guys like butt for
it
sometimes.
Exactly.
I'm not really, I don't really do
I need
that.
to play more guitar though.
I don't really do that to him, because I don't like to do that sometimes, but sometimes, you have to get reminded. But like, I feel like we all have to do something. We all have to get reminded of something.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's one of those things. It's like, I have to look at myself, and I have to do something about myself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have to. So that's something I kind of did. I did mariachi. So I started, and I did leadership again in high school. So that's how I really branched out a lot more. I made a lot of friends, and like to this day, like I'm still friends with most of them. You know, obviously some people are more acquaintances than others.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty good experience. As far as what I did for hobbies growing up, I changed hobbies a lot. When I was younger, I was really, really into video games. I would spend, so like I said, I didn't really like sports, so I would spend all day in the house just playing like my PS2 or playing like some SpongeBob platforming game, or like, my parents tried to get me into soccer. I'd kick the goal into the wrong thing, the soccer ball into the wrong goal.
I don't know how that happens, but
it happens, right?
It happens. I feel like we all do something like that.
Yeah, so like I grew up doing that kind of. Were you gonna say something? My bad, I cut you off.
What about what? Like?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna make a comment. My bad.
Like about soccer, like.
Yeah.
And like, I was kind of like in the same situation. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So I did that. I guess too, like growing up, I played a lot of video games. I like to go out with friends. I've always liked going out with my friends. I went through a phase where I tried to skateboard for a minute, sophomore year. I don't know if I ever told you about that. But my boy Adam, shout out to him. He's at UC Berkeley right now. The boy Adam.
Okay.
But basically, he was hella into skating at one point. Him and this kid named Austin. Shout out to Austin too. And I tried to get into like street skating for a bit. I had a board and it didn't really go anywhere. But I always liked to just go outside and do stuff. I liked hanging out with friends in groups and just being outside. Because I don't really like, I'm not the kind of person to really do like substances that much or drugs. So like my whole like idea of like when I was growing up and still to this day is like I just like chilling with like groups of people and just having a conversation.
Who mentioned substances?
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
We didn't say.
But you know what I mean.
I try to tell this guy like you don't have if you want some alone time you don't have to have that like type of stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like,
but I'm just saying that was kind of like my ideal.
Like
way
if you would stay home, like you would do stuff.
No, I wouldn't do anything. But when I stay home, I get bored. That's my problem.
I know, but you kind of brought substances randomly.
Oh no, I said like my idea of like going and hanging out throughout high school and like now was not because a lot of kids like to go out and just smoke.
Oh yeah, okay,
that's what I meant. My bad. Yeah, I'm not out here shooting heroin or anything like that.
No, not heroin. It's like what do teenagers do nowadays?
Probably
a lot.
I know a lot of teenagers that just be going out.
I sound hella old by saying that, but like
blasting out, smoking.
I just turned 19.
I feel like
he just turned 19 literally a week ago.
I feel like everybody goes through a phase though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, I mean, I had a YouTube channel for a bit. I was always into like when I was growing up, I was always into Dragon Ball Z a lot. Like I said, I was kind of a geeky kid. I'm still a geek at heart.
He's still a geek. I would say hip hop more or less.
I'm a hip hop geek now, but I still do respect the Dragon Ball movement. I haven't kept on it. But.
Oh, I was gonna say politics too.
Yeah,
He plays like gets a lot of stuff this guy pays attention to, not just like one thing.
I had a YouTube channel for a bit when I was growing up. It was called Son Goku Rocks, and basically that channel, I had a little laptop and webcam, and I would just make videos about what's going on in the Dragon Ball community, and I had a pretty good following, I would say. I got up to like 400 subscribers, but the thing is like, as you get older, interests kind of change a little bit. Yeah, and I just started kind of steering away a bit from that because I got into high school and I was trying to make more friends. Not that I was embarrassed about Dragon Ball, but at the same time, like I wasn't as interested in the community anymore. So I feel like if I would have kept going, I probably could have been successful. So there was that. And then the very last thing I want to kind of talk about, I guess, about myself growing up is the influence that my mom had on me with music. Because I've always been I'll say this. Music and politics, too.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say that. My mom had 3 main influences on me. I would say music, politics, and spirituality. Because I just want to talk about her in this video because she actually was a big influence on me. Because when I was younger, my mom we'd sit in the car and we'd go to school and she'd always be playing different kinds of like music and different genres. Because when my mom was in high school, she was like an alternative like punk kind of girl.
Yeah.
This is like 80s or 90s, I think, something like that.
I mean,
I don't know. It doesn't really matter, right? But like she was kind of the alternative girl and she was into all these underground bands. Like she knew Nirvana before they blew up, and like when I was in her car, she would show me like punk rock music. Not just punk rock music, the Beatles too.
Would it surprise you, like, because like how throughout the years you just change.
Yeah.
And then like people like that kind of look, I would say like normal. I don't want to say normal, but like just like they can show you music. Oh, I remember this is back in my day, and they're like, you just listen to this type of stuff, like.
Yeah. Well, I guess because it didn't really surprise. Sometimes it did, but she wasn't really listening to like hardcore punk rock because there is like a hardcore scene. They call it like thrash metal and like hardcore punk kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. She was more of like a classic punk rock kind of guy, like the kind of guy, kind of girl. There was like a band called The Clash, and like they're one of the most popular punk bands. They have a lot of political songs, so she showed me stuff like that. She would also show me even like rap music she was into. Like she was into like OG Kanye. Like I would hear just a bunch of different kinds of music.
OG Kanye was like 2000s.
2000, yeah. Like I'm talking like college dropout Kanye.
That was like 2003, 2000. No, don't quote me yet.
Something like that.
I love Kanye, but like I think it's 2003, 2004. I don't even know.
Yeah, so I'd be blaring that in like in her car, and I think like that had an influence on me because from a young age I knew different kinds of music genres. Like one moment I was listening to the Black Eyed Peas. You know what I mean?
The old one, like
yeah.
Okay, because like
when they had like Pump It. Do you remember? I don't know if you know
Pump
that.
It higher.
That song, yeah. We were bumping that, and then the next second we were bumping Green Day, the American Idiot album. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Isn't that the most like political album? That's,
yeah, that's their most political album, by the way. But
it's like,
she had such an influence on me, man. Like, and it's crazy too, because it's like obviously she kind of influenced me with politics too, because like as I got older, and especially right now, and I'll kind of like tie this in with everything, but my thing is like right now I kind of feel like I've been more of an activist lately, sort of, because like obviously there's a lot of stuff going down in the world. Climate change is a huge problem. There's a lot of community problems here in our city in San Jose. So lately, like a big thing about my personality that I wanted to mention is like I've been really intrigued or really inspired to help make a change. Yeah. And that's what I want to use things for. I partially want to use this platform to help that too. And just also bring people together, because we're in a time of crisis right now, and it's like, youth need to step up. And my mom like filled me with the political knowledge at a young age. So there's that.
The person that really woke this guy before we move on to me is our friend Marshall.
Shout out to Marshall. Marshall Woodmansey official.
You almost forgot about that one.
I almost forgot about that one.
Yeah. It's like he's one of the we had him on, but he's like one of the youngest candidates
running for San Jose City Council.
Yeah, and so he definitely is a woke individual.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's been one of my best friends since freshman year. So like he really roped me into just using my voice, because I think it's important, because
he kind of brings it out of you.
He brought it out of me, and like I wasn't really involved with my community or anything.
I think we all do. Yeah. To a certain extent, we all do. All of us that know Julian, at least, we all kind of do. We kind of like tell him, well, not what to do, but like, hey, I think maybe you should do this.
Everyone helps me out a little bit, and I'm thankful for that. I'm blessed for that, and it's like now I kind of feel like I'm at a point where I really do want to help out this world and help make a change.
So my name is Shalomy, as I'm saying again. I was born in San Jose. I was born just like him. We're both from San Jose.
SJ natives.
I don't know why we're doing this handshake again, but yeah, we do that handshake. And
we're not affiliated.
I swear. Yeah, but so I was born like I would believe Santa Teresa Hospital. Not to go into anything like specific, but like it's just like I was born in 2000. So, and also I was April. So like I'm an Aries season.
Oh, he's an Aries baby.
And so, what about you?
Oh yeah, my bad. I was actually born in September 19th. So I'm a Virgo. But I don't be knowing much about those signs.
Honestly, like it's very few, because I have a couple friends. Shout out to Shania, my sister. Like they're about that. They're about that like science stuff. And definitely, like, before I get into me, like, it definitely just goes into, like, it just says a lot. Even if you don't, like, really, like look into it, it definitely, like, can tell a lot about your character.
Oh, most definitely.
And, anyways, I was born, in the East Side. So I grew up in the East Side. For people that don't live in SJ, the East Side's kind of, like, the more ghetto neighborhood. But I was born, like, in the nicer neighborhood. Like in the more, I was Evergreen, so if anyone's aware of Evergreen, it's more like the nicer.
He was a pretty wealthy guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Wealthy guy. No, we're like middle somewhat class. Like my dad, he cleans houses for a living. He still does it. Respect to that guy. My mom, she had a couple jobs here and there, but she when she had me, or my parents had me, because I have a sister. Her name's Koinonia. Her name means fellowship, and my name actually means hello, goodbye, and peace. And,
hella creative.
And it's like it's a long story, but so like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she was the one that mostly raised me, because my dad was basically like working for us. He was working, he was putting food on the table, come back home all the time. But I never really got to know my dad like that.
Because he was always working.
He was always working.
All right.
And then for like my going to school wise, just getting to know me, like I always moved from school to school. So like in elementary, I kind of went to this one school, and then I went to the other school. But the way it is, like I was in the special education, I was in the special education system. And the reason for special education system is because I believe I couldn't read, or I didn't learn. I was just like on that spectrum of like.
Yeah, it wasn't like meeting the like minimum level or something.
Yeah,
like
meeting
that.
the minimum level of
right.
just like regular. Like,
yeah.
General. I don't even know at this point. But yeah, like so I was like always surrounded with like the special kids, and I got nothing bad to say about them. Of course, some of the times it was kind of weird, or like oh, I wonder why they do this. It's because like. They're kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like what? Like
I got something going on a little bit.
Like of course there's nothing bad, but it's just like one of those types of things. And I always kind of felt labeled, because like I was in special ed. I always kind of felt that label of like, oh, I feel dumb, or I feel this type of way, and it kind of gave me low self-esteem when I was young. So
at a young age, were you always in the special education system?
Yeah, I was always been in the special education system until I was a high schooler, and I was still
until high school.
I was still in. Because I took a break recently from college, like a semester break, but I was still enrolled in that whole like special education system.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, it's like a lot. And to get back, it's like I always kept on moving around. I was like in a nicer neighborhood. I knew a couple people that were like we know everybody. We have people that were kind of like considered like more I would say with the types of things like with the shits or like it's just like those types of things where it's kind of like people that are like in the bad neighborhoods and
you know they about it.
Yeah, they know about it because I was mostly raised with like Asians, Indians, and of course Hispanics and stuff like that. But like I was raised in there, and then like I don't know, I don't really do it justice. Like I'm kind of all over the place with my stuff. But like since I always like I guess you could say that the start of my music taste was since I always took the little yellow buses. Like the bus driver always like played like 98.1, which is like the classics, like the classic pops, like Michael Jackson.
They were bumping the radio on the bus.
Yeah,
I didn't know buses have like radio.
Yeah, they had the radio and then like even like tapes
right.
and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that sounds good, but I didn't know who these people were.
Yeah.
And so like for instance, when Michael Jackson died, I didn't know who he was. I knew like the music that was there, but I didn't know the person.
But you didn't know his name.
I didn't know his name.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, it sounds good. And then people kind of like shun me for that. A lot of people shun me for people I don't know.
Like the Mac Dre thing?
We'll get into that. But like, but yeah, like I would say like my earlier years, I was always playing games. Like I used to went to this daycare, and they had like the Nintendo 64 and the Xbox, and it was just
OG
like
systems.
And so like I played Halo with the bigger kids, and then like all that stuff. But I also had a friend. I don't know I believe his name was Art or something. But I had a friend who had an Xbox, and I always went to his house to play his console because he never played it. And so like
so you'd go to his house and just be chilling playing it.
Yeah, because he never played it. He was never there, and so I just chilled there hanging out. And so I guess you could say like I was more or less indoors, kind of introverting. Kind of an introvert.
So you were more of an introvert as a kid.
I was more of an introvert when I was a kid. Like I'm kind of coming more to terms about it, but like it's taking me longer, or it took me like really long to understand social like cues, social like just socializing, like just social cues. When not to say stuff, or when like for instance like just interpreting something, like like just like when not to say stuff, or just like like the vibe of everything's kind of weird,
Right.
I never picked up on stuff like that, or like how people act sometimes, and so I was always indoors, and my sister, she was doing her thing, she's like I would say 3 years older than me. I don't even pay attention to that stuff, but it's just like she was older than me, so
something like that, right?
She guided me a little bit, but we kind of hated each other. And I don't know for some reason, but my mom, she really shaped me a lot, and my dad later in life did. My mom, I was raised by my mom more, and so like I was raised in the church, you could say. So like my parents, they both went to church. It was a church on the hill. We both went there. My dad did the sound. Really? I haven't told anybody this, but he did the sound stuff, like the sound check and stuff like that. For churches.
That's nice.
And so I guess you could say that was kind of like a side thing he did when he wasn't cleaning houses and stuff. But so I guess you could say that was kind of one thing because like for me, I love beats. I love instrumentals. I love stuff. And I don't know where, but sometimes I don't even listen. I know the cadence of songs. Like I know like I don't know the lyrics. But like, I just know
the cadence.
I know the
harmonies
and the harmonies of the music.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could say I get it from him, even though he was kind of like nothing related to that. But yeah. And then I grew up in church. Now you can say I'm a little rebel now because honestly I'm
a rebel now.
I'm pretty stupid honestly. But sometimes I could be really like vocal. I could be really loud. I could be really like
this guy's a meme basically.
I'm a meme basically.
Shalomy is just a meme.
And like it's bad basically. Sometimes I want to be taken seriously, but people are like, oh, like you just weird. It's just like you could be labeled sometimes, and I kind of don't like that. But anyways, when I was like in elementary, like fourth or fifth grade, my parents actually got divorced, and I didn't know what that meant. So I was kind of like, all I knew was that my dad left, and like for some reason, and like it was weird. It was like a weird time. But like my dad was gone for a certain amount of my life, like probably for like a couple months, like 5 months. I didn't see him for a minute, and he just kind of came back in my life. And I'm like, because like I was so used to like not really seeing him because like I was realistically raised by my mom.
And then you see him and you're like, what is this fool doing here?
Something like that, but also kind of like, oh hi, I haven't seen you in a minute. Like what's going on? And then we eventually had to move because the whole housing crisis of 2008 happened.
Yeah.
And so like.
Still is a housing crisis low key here.
It's so high crisis.
Still bad over here.
But then I moved into the Willow Glen area with my mom with some people we knew. They hooked us up and we moved there, and I guess you could say that's where kind of all my shyness came from too, because of course my mom she's like always embarrasses me with people, but like I moved to like a completely new area. I knew no one. Like I lost all my friends that I had, and like that were like in
the Evergreen East Side area.
East Side area. I lost everybody. I didn't have anybody social media.
That could be rough.
This is before like there was. I think it was just MySpace.
Yeah.
It was just MySpace and stuff, but we moved to the Willow Glen area, and then like so I went to Willow Glen middle and high school for, I guess you could say, like the full time. So I knew no one. Like I literally just kind of stuck to myself for like until 8th grade. I knew some people, but like it was just like more or less acquaintances to me. And then I met one of my good friends, Daniel, like in the 7th grade.
Shout out Daniel Gomez.
Shout out to my friend Daniel Gomez. I met him like in the 7th grade because I had a thing called guided studies, and they help you out with like homework and stuff. It's like part of the special
a lot of people
education.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I met him in there. We didn't really talk, but we kind of like just we thought we like.
You guys are kind of associated.
Yeah, we're kind of associated
there.
And then like in high school, of course I passed. Everybody we passed like middle school and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it took me a while to fit in because like. I was just really awkward and weird. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
We're all kind of. I'm awkward and weird too.
I know it was weird. Like my fashion sense was weird. So my mom always like kind of like picked the pieces to wear for me, and like she also kind of gave me like studies clothes. So I kind of had like already a fit to wear the next day.
Okay, right.
She was that type of mom, like to like make me a fit for the next day, and so I wore it, and whether regardless it looked good or nice, I liked it. And so we'll get into that, but just I knew no one. Like literally no one.
That can be tough.
And like I had acquaintances. Like of course I knew people. Like hey, how's it going? But I didn't know, as I said, social cues or just social wise. Since I was really inside, because like video games was a big part of my life. I never mentioned that, but it was a big part of my life. I literally just like stayed inside all the time, and so like I just didn't know like. I didn't get certain social cues or social wise. I didn't get some of that stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say social, but like it's like it took me a while to learn it. And like in freshman year, I got to know people. Like I had my first crush. I bothered the hell out of her because it was when I got Facebook. It's like a whole different story, but I
have a story about that too.
I got Facebook.
I don't want to say it on camera.
I got Facebook, and then like I didn't know I didn't know what I was doing. I was texting this girl, but I was annoying her. Like it was like one of those people that were kind of clingy.
I was the same way.
And like I was like, good morning, even if she didn't reply to me.
Good morning.
And so like it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, damn, I didn't know what I was doing. It's really cringy. But then like I met my friend Daniel. We talked to him freshman year. And because we connected back, and he introduced me to his friends in sophomore year. But before that, my friend Miguel Alvarez, shout out to Miguel Alvarez. He has a brand called Toma. I was hanging out with his group, so I really don't talk about them that much. But I was hanging out with their group.
Was that Anthony's group?
Yeah, Anthony's group.
Okay, so you knew him for a minute then.
And so like it was like we all had our sense of humor. Like it was hella weird. It was like because I have a dark sense of humor. And they have like a weird sense of humor, and like I connected with me, and I'm like, dude, that's hella funny. So we started talking, but then I transitioned into another group, which is my good friends, my good friend group, and like they made me really comfortable like with myself.
So would you say like that friend group that you transitioned to was really what brought you out more as a person?
That, and then some people like in specific grades, because I have like my friend Nicole, and I met at senior year. I really don't know what happened to her, but like I only had her like we were in the same class for like a semester, but like she was the type of person to talk about also auras and like horoscopes and stuff.
Yeah.
She was that type of person too, and but she just got me like comfortable like being in myself,
being yourself around people.
Being myself around people, and then like my sister, she introduced me to smoking. She actually introduced me to one of my favorite artists of all time, Tyler the Creator. Also like that because like during the time it was when Cherry Bomb came out, and so not a lot of people know about like Tyler, creators, like older work, but like that was around 2015, 2016, and it was mostly like an experimental album. So it was like rock, jazz,
all kinds of
regular
stuff.
rap, and
very
then, like,
experimental.
And so like when I was getting high, those sounds like resonated with me because once you get high, it's just for some people. People have different trips, but like or different highs, right? But when you get high, like music sounds so good, like it sounds really good.
Yeah.
And then like off the track list, it was really good. Like it sounded, and I'm like, yo, I love this guy. And then like pause, of course. But like it was like I love this music. I gotta listen to more of it, and that's what got me into more music.
So like Tyler the Creator was like the gateway.
My gateway.
And that makes sense too, because Tyler is like a very experimental artist already.
Like before that, like he was
hella edgy and stuff.
Edgy, like, and then like later on, he kind of figured out, yo, I want to be kind of taken more seriously. Like,
yeah.
Of course, he's still his goofy self, of course. With
Yeah.
his Igor album and like Flower Boy and stuff like that, but like he matured over the time.
Definitely, most definitely.
And so like I got a lot of my style, a lot of my fashion from him, as well as my dad. People that I see off the streets, like Instagram influencers and all that stuff, because like people always tell me like I dress nice, and I'm like, oh,
this
thank
guy
you.
has good style.
And I'm like, oh, thank you, and then like, and I also compliment people too, even if it's like I like complimenting people. I'm the type of person.
Yeah, it just feels good being nice to people.
Now, I'm not sure if I should. I'm kind of all over the place. But now that like I was like throughout high school, I got comfortable with myself. I started talking to more people. Thanks to my group, to certain people, I got comfortable. Like I started complimenting people, like or just resonating with people. And my mom had to do all this. I love my mom. Like I literally love my mom. She did a lot of stuff for me. I'm a mama's boy at heart.
Shout out to Angela.
Angela Rodriguez. I love you. Which is my mom's name. She did a lot of stuff for me. Also like. She was kind of strict on me. Like she had a curfew for me. She was really strict on me. I didn't have a phone, or she didn't like let me have a phone
for a
until
while.
Like I was like a junior, and so like people already had their iPhones and stuff. I had a flip phone.
Yeah,
that's what I had. And so like
I didn't get one until like 8th grade.
I didn't get a phone until like a junior year.
Damn.
And so like. Once I had it, I was addicted because I always saw people.
Have a phone.
I always saw people on their phones, and I'm like, damn, I wonder how that's like to like be addicted
and have your own little personal device where you can do whatever the hell you want in it.
Yeah, it's just like crazy, and then it's like, yo, and now I understand.
Yeah,
I'll
admit it. I'm addicted to my phone. It's hard. It's like
we're all addicted to something, like
Yeah.
Like for me and him, we're addicted to like hip hop and stuff. And so to get more to that, okay, before that, like just like I was just like over high school experience is definitely like me being more open with people.
Yeah, and that's dope.
And so like and then I went to college. I'm still going to college, but I took a semester break because my first year for San Jose City, I was going, but like I wasn't really like paying attention in class. I was really unmotivated because like I would have to say like. First, I was unmotivated for myself because I had like bad habits and bad hobbies.
Yeah.
And also the people that I was surrounding myself with, I was distracting myself with. And so like I was kind of like, oh shit, like I gotta
get it together a little bit.
I gotta get it together.
Take some time.
But like
you're working now though.
I'm working full time now, or consider full time, I think. But yeah, that's just me right now. I guess you could say I didn't go in depth like him, but over time.
No, you did for sure.
But over time, like. I guess you could say I remember certain things, like certain things in my life. But definitely, music got me out of my shell. People got me out of my shell, and then just like certain individuals got me out of my shell. That's us, the Ramblerz. You just kind of threw that pen across the.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure to share it, and let us know what you guys want us to keep coming with, because we'll provide you guys with the content.
Yeah, because we've been all over the place with content too.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
But yeah.
But that's it.
That's it. My name's Shalom. Shalomy the homie.
Oh, that's probably some. That's Shalomy the homie. And I'm King Julianno. This is the Ramblerz podcast. Signing off. One more blood handshake.
I'm not affiliated with any of this blood shit.